Greetings and felicitations, YouTube. You're all the Appian way. I just had a game against Dgaame. That's my opponent. His name is Dgaame. And this one was a ton of fun. We're playing on 4,400 rule set here, meaning that you're capped at 4,400 funds per weight category of infantry. You're also capped at 2 chariots per weight category of chariot, and those are the only restrictions, really. So for let's talk about the army compositions, and then we'll talk about deployment. So for my heavy infantry slots, I picked 3 units of Dardanian defenders, and with the funds I had left over, I grabbed 1 heavy Anatolian sword. For medium, I brought 1 Dardanian spearman, which I put into turtle mode, and I brought 3 shieldless spears. The reason I brought the Dardanian spearman was because I knew I wanted the charging medium spears, but I didn't know how the stats would be of the Dardanian spearmen if I put them in Teenage Mutant Trojan turtle mode. And the funny thing is that their statistics, I believe, are far better for the job than what a shieldless spear does. As we'll go back and forth between the two. You see, we get more armor on a Dardanian spear. We get more speed, a ton more speed. We get more melee attack. We get less melee defense. We get a lot more damage. The shieldless spears do have more armor piercing. And we get more charge bonus. So honestly, I just think that even though these guys are only a little bit more expensive, you want to take Dardanian spearmen over shieldless spears every time because these guys can multitask. For the rest of my medium infantry, I brought 4, here they are, Anatolian swords, 500 funds. These guys are easy to bring in bulk for medium, and they have 125 swords damage. So I'm very impressed by these guys. Their morale is so-so, but their armor is really dog dirt. Light infantry, I have 1 rabble over here, and I have 2 mobs over there. My opponent, starting with what I can see at deployment, an armored spearman, 2 renowned axemen, 2 Argive axemen, and Diomedes on a chariot. Oh, did I mention I also brought a heavy Trojan chariot and Centaur champion? I also saw at the very beginning 1 Centaur warrior. I was expecting it to be a Savage Centaur warrior, and, like 2 of them, and a Centaur champion, and I didn't even realize they were just Centaur warriors until after the battle was done. With stuff I can't see, this was a bold move. He brought 4 militia. Regular old 300 funds militia with a speed of 48. I had no idea to expect those coming. My opponent also brought 2 heroic axe runners, which are over here next to an Argive swordsman. And then on my far right flank, my opponent brought my favorite unit in the Diomedes roster, Night Runners. They look so cool. They really, really do. So yeah, my opponent was a little bit spread out for his deployment, but he's already started off the battle by outflanking me, basically. However, he was a little bit too intimidated by the mud to consider attacking with this. Had he attacked with these Centaur warriors, with these heroic runners, and maybe even the militia right down here, the Anatolian swords probably were not going to win that fight. But he decides to give me the chance to get away from the mud. He was too worried about the mud hurting his combat stats. Mud doesn't do that to you, unless you're a large and or a chariot unit. The only thing mud does to infantry is slow you down, and it slows down heavier infantry more than it slows down medium, which slows down more than it does light infantry. So as I'm looking at this deployment over here, and I have my heavy chariots here, and I'm going, well, this is not an ideal target for heavy chariots. What am I going to do? And if there's anything else, it's in the trees. So, and especially with the deployment being spread out like this, there isn't going to be a good chance for me to get into his Argive axemen without getting terribly punished by heavy infantry or Diomedes. I'll see the centaurs coming out this way, so I'm thinking my opponent's just kind of committing everything over here, so I'm going to start marching all my guys this way. My Anatolian swords are going to go up the ravine. My spear chargers and mobs are going to come up this way. And I'm also going to shift my heavy Anatolian swords with my Dardanian defenders so that my Dardanian defenders can get the open field with which to throw javelins from. But yeah, this fight, I've tried recording this battle 3 times now, so I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. My opponent had an opportunity here to pick off some of my units, but he's instead going to wait. And I also think having the Night Runners off by themselves over here wasn't as good of a call. If he had had all of these outflanking forces in one spot, they would have been a lot more valuable to him than spread out like this. So here you can see I'm doing that shift that I was talking about. And here comes his cavalry, and they're not stopping, and neither is his infantry. So I kind of realize I have an opportunity here. If these guys keep going, I could take out the cavalry. All I have to do is put one Dardanian mob into the armored spearmen and put everybody else into the centaur warriors. So here comes the orders, here comes the charge. The centaur warriors are not going to do well against centaur champions, even if there's 3 of them. And then I put my chariots into this, and that's when he activates his night runners. They're currently hidden. I'm going to see them, though, at the last possible second. Look at this. We just broke that centaur warrior. I can. The night runners are now inside my line of sight. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4. It took me 4 seconds to order the attack after seeing them. That was pretty good reaction speed there. Another thing that happened in all of this, Diomedes activated Zeus's Wrath on my centaur champions. Look at their hit points, their armor, their morale. It is plummeting, absolutely plummeting. I used up all the javelins on my Dardanian defenders, and we're now lined up here. I'm going to order both of these guys to charge this before he does the charge. I think he was waiting for his Argos axemen to get into position before he attacked. As you can see, I've gotten these units almost all the way up here. Here comes the militia. 4 units of militia moving fast and trying to chase me down over here. And here comes the axe runners and the swordsmen. My centaur champions get routed because of all of that damage they took. As you can see, though, I've just broke the night runners. There's almost nothing left of his centaur warriors. I get my chariots back into this, and I'm taking a ton of damage from Diomedes. This is mostly all Diomedes' work. And then he's going to come over here and try and bail out his armored spearmen by killing Dardanian spearmen and Dardanian mob. I've just got my guys into position almost. I managed to reposition my lines and shift just enough to catch the attempts to flank. So I was able to spread these guys out rather than just get blobbed up. These guys are running on over, but they're going to be a little bit too late. I'm going to go ahead and turn around to a couple of Anatolian swords and this shieldless spear to fight the militia because I'm not intimidated by militia. I'm mostly just hoping I could slow down the battle over there. Even if the militia win, I'm not anticipating militia are going to be able to do anything to turn the tide in the late stages of a battle. The Night Runners are coming over here to try and bail out the Argive Axemen. At the same time, I ordered my Trojan Chariots to attack the Renowned Axemen to bail out my Dardanian defenders. So seeing that there's Night Runners on the way, and they had just regrouped, they just came into my sight. My Trojan Chariots, eager but tired, are going to tear apart these Night Runners. As you can see, my flanking forces are now almost in position. I brought my Centaur Champions out here to try and help me break the Armored Spearmen. I'm going to throw my Dardanian Mob into this. And he turns around his Night Runners just in time to get me here. The Heroic Axe Warriors Heroic Axe Runners have arrived now. They're definitely going to deal with this Anatolian Swords and maybe even this Dardanian Defender out here, but I am getting more units into position. The Argive Swordsmen, they come out here to bail out the militia. I think that was a waste of time and space because the militia, you don't need those in the long run, but he is going to turn that tide of that battle for the militia's favor. As you can see, we've gotten Diomedes over here. He's jumped off his chariot. He's activated Aristea. But I think that with a Shieldless Spear, an Anatolian Sword, and a Centaur Champion, I can win this fight. But never underestimate Diomedes. He is doing work against my hero right now, and also activated a debuff on me to lower 50% of my hero's armor. Alright, so we've run down this Argive Axeman now. I've just got to deal with these 2 Axe Runners. I just freed up these 2 Dardanian Defenders, so they're going to grab them, attack them. I've got these units are still routing out here. All I have to do is just leave a Dardanian mob to chase that spearman. Look at my hero get devastated by Diomedes. Absolutely devastated. His chariot's stuck in the battle. He dismounted and he can't even do anything about that chariot. This is pretty hilarious. But yeah, Diomedes, he may be surrounded. He don't care. He's not taking too much damage. I have my chariots out here. I see the battle is just light infantry. I don't even care that they're in the tree line. I'm charging into the scrubs. Don't put your chariots in scrubs, dude. I don't care at this point. Even with the 3 melee defense, I know that I've got this beat. And as Homer calls it, victory's close enough to taste. The Argive Swordsman, the only fresh unit he has left other than Diomedes. Diomedes down about a 1/3 health, but that was the end of the fight. Let's look at some statistics. That was a good fight. So all told, my opponent had 420 enemy remaining. Nice. Very nice. And yeah, I did not spend any XP. These are all pickups that I gained in the battle. So each of my Dardania defenders, my heavy Anatolian swords, even though they were completely devastated by that heroic axe runner charge at the end, they managed to pull off a ton of kills against the Argos Axemen and the Renowned Axemen. My Shieldless Spear here managed 25 kills and an XP Chevron. It was very instrumental in helping me to fight off the Centaur Warriors and that Armored Spearman, holding that line with the support of one mob as long as it did, long enough anyway, for me to free up my Centaur champions and use the Mentor's Wrath of Zeus ability to drop 50% of the Armored Spearman armor. Unfortunately, from the Night Runners, only 4 kills. Let me tell you, Night Runners, they are absolutely a beautiful unit. They're one of my favorites in this game, but if you leave them in the open field and if a chariot can see them coming, they are doomed. They are so doomed, and that's what really put the value on my heavy Trojan chariots. The Night Runners are only a 500-point unit, but still 122 kills from running on them over, from running over the heroic axe runners, from running over Argos Axemen, a ton of damage, and a well-earned XP. Centaur champions were almost out of this battle because of Diomedes. He did a heck of a job. They still managed 63 kills and an XP Chevron. So yeah, my hero, 0 kills, but I brought him for that ability, Zeus's Wrath, which Diomedes has as well. I think my opponent used Zeus's Wrath better than I did, based on how he was able to peel away half of the health on this expensive Centaur champion. It was a fun fight. While I'm thinking about it, if you haven't done so yet, please consider joining Death's Total War Troy multiplayer Discord. It's in the description. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm going to be hosting a tournament soon. I don't have a date yet, and I'm only in the process now of figuring out the rules. I'm going to cast it. I'm going to be the rules czar, and we're going to play it all on one stream, hopefully on one day in an upcoming weekend. But in order to participate, we want you to be a part of our multiplayer community. It is, in my opinion, the most competitive Troy multiplayer community out there right now is on that server. So please, please, please come consider joining and playing with us. This is where I've been getting games against Dgaame here, against people like Peanut Booty, against Wipe, against Death, against Scorpion, against Air Runner. These are some of the best Troy players in the world right now, in my opinion. And not just because they have to fight me almost every day. So do consider joining us. Ta-ta, I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.